Everyone said that the schoolmaster was possessed by a pig spirit and kissed me. In order to be worthy of the schoolmaster, I tried my best to lose weight. But I still didn't get the crowd's satisfaction. Then I was in a bad mood, and I went crazy all day long, so I was not happy. Point 1, I was raped by the internet, because of a photo. Someone posted a misplaced picture of me and Lu Qingju, the school's glass. Lu Qingju previously had a small fire because of a post called, "How handsome was the school bully when you were a student?" Leading up to this time, everyone instantly recognized, this university schoolboy. It's too disgusting, right? Wretched, thanks. Holy shit, this school glass is possessed by pig essence, right? Kissing such a piece of fat oil. I silently exit the social software. Wow, fatty, you're a pig that can arch cabbages? Roommate Chen Jia pushed the door in, a meaningful smile on her face. Little fatty, probably easier to remember than Chen Lixia. Like the film said, people like us, even if we have names, will still be called Fatty Lane. The sound of the roommate's voice drew frequent looks in from the hallway. If you want to enter, close the door and come in, or get out. Her roommate, Yui Liu, gave her a jerking look. The two of them hadn't been on the same page since the beginning of the school year. At this time the other main character in the photo was sending me a message. Cabbage, Chen Lixia, why don't you reply when I send you a message? Cabbage, I'm downstairs in your dorm room, come down for dinner. Lu Qingju, my neighbor and childhood friend. It is also the only one who doesn't call me fatty. I'm waiting to get hungry, do you know, little comrade? Studying, forgot the time. I kept my head down and quickened my pace towards the canteen. Afraid of being spotted, I walked with him. He was a good student, had a good family, and good looks seemed to be the least of his problems. As for me, I'm nice. Everyone said, you're weirdly nice. But even if I try my best to lower my presence, it's useless. Lu Qingju is too eye-catching. Can you keep a low profile? You stay away from me. I repelled him in a small voice. What, is it so embarrassing to stand with me? Chen Lixia, you've changed. You didn't treat me like this before. Are you in love? I'm convinced, this person's brain circuit is like a urinal. A meal that was eaten in a hurry. After returning to the dormitory, the roommates gathered around. Fatia, are you really in love with Lu Qingju? Chen Jia slowly opened her mouth. At that time I felt like she was a wolf staring at its prey, with green light in both eyes. We are high school classmates. I didn't dare to say that we were childhood sweethearts, because I felt that a high-flying flower like Lu Qingju, how could she have a childhood sweetheart as ordinary as me? I clearly remembered that when I was in junior high school, how everyone taunted Lu Qingju when they knew that he and I were childhood sweethearts. Lu Qingju, Nian's family is next to a pig farm. Lu Qingju lives with Chen Pig, the boss Sao. It is said that children's words are reckless, or with I shouldn't remember so long. After all, I am good people. Little fat, can you dash? Liu Yi's words were interrupted by the person next to her before she finished. What do you call little fatty? Call fatty sister, can you push Lu Qingju WeChat to me? Chen Jia stood up straight and straightened her body. If you ask me, it's useless to push it to you, it's better to push it to me. Good fellow, what did you eat at night? Such a big mouth. I looked up at Chen Jia awkwardly. Why awkward? Because her bumpy figure was about to rub against my face. Should I ask Lu Qingju? It's not good to just push WeChat. I opened my mobile phone and made a gesture to send a message to Lu Qingju. Chen Jia's quick eyes and hands snatched my phone. What's the point of asking? Just say that I forced you. She threw the phone at me, and in the chat bar, Lu Qingju's business card had already been pushed over. I sat back in my seat deflated. Forget it, Lu Qingju won't like me anyway, he always has to fall in love. I consoled myself with some loss in my heart. If only I could slim down, looking at that round face in the mirror. If I lost weight, I would look pretty good, at least better than now. The prerequisite for being loved is to be pretty, right? My eyes went to the medicine bottle in the corner. The little angel and the little devil in my heart fought. What are you thinking? I don't want to die. Li Yi, who hadn't said anything all this time, came over to me, as if she'd just seen right through what was going on in my mind. Little fat, can you be more confident? The next day, morning 8 just after class, I was blocked at the classroom door by Lu Qingju. Why did you get up so early today? Lu Qingju didn't say anything and pulled me out with a puff of air. Until there were fewer and fewer people around. He scattered my hand and glared at me. What's wrong with you? As soon as the words left his mouth, Lu Qingju poked my head frantically with his finger. You, and you're asking me what's wrong? He poked me frantically like a chicken pecking at rice. What are you doing? Something is wrong. I ran away clutching my head. I'd like to poke your big head open today and see what's in it. I was shocked. I couldn't let him poke it open. I couldn't let my love brain be discovered. What's wrong with me? How dare you ask? Why did you push me to your roommate? Lu Qingju stopped and crossed his arms to look at me. The small waist is so thin, SHSH. Don't give me fluttering eyes, look at me. I'm looking at it. Lu Qingju's face is very ugly, black drawing a crescent moon can directly rise to the hall, it seems to be really angry. I hung my head, not daring to look at him. You listen to my sophistry, no, you listen to my explanation. It's her who grabbed my mobile phone. Chen Lixia, you can be really generous, are you not afraid that I am really with someone else? His tone was somewhat helpless. I opened my mouth, not knowing what to say. I'm afraid you'll be with someone else, afraid you'll like someone else. I want to be with you. I've even thought about where we'll be buried together. But what can I say, looking at my thick thighs, the bottom of my heart is not 1/10 of it. Forget it, take your time. I looked up at him, not understanding what he meant by take your time. He touched my head. I'm sorry, just fierce you, scared it, it's my bad. Obviously comforting me, but his tone is fierce. This dog always make people love and hate. At night, lying in bed, tossing and turning, can't sleep. God, if you can hear me, satisfy my little selfish desire. 3 Zhengqing's winter is cold and piercing, more piercing than the cold wind, is the cold text in the mobile phone. The photo thing didn't die down with time. Instead, it was forwarded everywhere. Holy shit. This is a pig spirit, right? Ha 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 ha, can't live with the laughter. This man is Lu Qingju, how can he look at such a woman? I'm crying, I'm crying, I'm crying, I'm crying. I'm not kidding. The pig spirit compelled the department glass. My hand holding the mobile phone soaked out sweat and dripped down my arm. I didn't think that a small vegetarian handsome guy would actually have fans. They peeled out my social media apps, sent me private messages, abused me. P-pictured my face on a pig, and even more outrageously, P-pictured my last picture. Fatty, how's it going? You've never been paid so much attention in your life, right? And being treated as the girlfriend of the school bully, cool, right? Chen Jia was still smiling that same implied smile. I didn't understand what she was secretly happy about. What's wrong with Chen Lixia? What gives you guys the right to talk about her like that? At least she's nice. I watched as this comment, the only one that spoke for me, was slowly topped by numerous comments. No one cared, they clearly didn't even know me, didn't understand who I was, and didn't know the truth of the matter. They didn't want to know either. My personal information, which was stripped to the bone, was exaggerated, and I was actually told I weighed 200 pounds. No, they have never seen what 200 kilograms looks like. Lu Qingju kept sending messages, and when he saw that I didn't reply, he called. I do not know what to say, easy to tell him I am fine. I can't do it. Feel aggrieved with him to cry? I'm such a big guy, I don't have anything to do with being loved at all. A comment stung my eyes and pierced my heart. It can't be that this pig spirit is directing herself, right? Secretly in love with Lu Qingju, if she can't get it, she will destroy it. Soon, this comment was topped as a favorite. My little crush was revealed, as if it wasn't the comment that was on the popular, but me. Every like was a whip that lashed at me, beating my fat flesh. Chen Lixia. Lu Yi jolted up from her chair, which made an unpleasant sound. Lu Qingju issued a statement. At this moment, my crush drew to a close, and it was also the end of my friendship with Lu Qingju. The BGM automatically played in my head, let's just say I lost, maybe you're scared. The network kept showing disconnected. I refreshed the page apprehensively. What would he say? Clear the air with me. Even though he usually has a cheap mouth, he's quite good to me. I'm Lu Qingju. I looked down apprehensively. Also the boy in the photo, the girl called Chen Lixia, is my childhood friend. I do not know the person who took this photo for what purpose. I'm just an ordinary student, not what department class, not to mention by whom to be compelled. If I have to say compulsion, it should be that I compelled Chen Lixia it. I compelled her to enroll in the same university as me and pester her every day. If it wasn't for me, she wouldn't have been attacked by so many strangers today for no reason. The word pig spirit, it's really hard to hear. Using it on a girl, it's even more excessive. As a college student, I didn't expect you all to have such a low quality. Also, I hope you all focus on your own studies. My private life has nothing to do with anyone. And last but not least, Chen Lixia is 165,130 pounds, and I don't think it's fat at all. Defining a person by fat and thin is too narrow-minded. I took my mobile phone and sat frozen on the bed. What are you doing? Don't you even make a comment? Other people are boldly showing their love. Li Yi impatiently held her mouth and muttered in a small voice, why do you look at you as an ostrich? I picked up Lu Qingju's phone. Hello? Lixia, are you all right? The voice on the phone was a little anxious. Lu Qingju, I'm sorry, I've caused you trouble. Before the words left my mouth, I already couldn't help but cry out. Lixia, don't cry, don't cry, I'm downstairs in your dormitory, come down okay, there's something we can say face to face. His tone was almost pleading. I'm not going, thank you for defending me today, I'm really touched, I choked, honestly. Chen Lixia, you kid really can't get into the oil and salt do I have to make it clear? I like you, old me wants to be with you. Bye. Without waiting for him to answer, I hung up the phone. Tilda, I covered myself in the quilt and Groundhog screamed. Sisters, can Xia be with him? I was terrified, honestly. That whole night, Chen Jua didn't say another word. Point for the next day, I walked down the road and could clearly feel the people around me looking at me. The gazes around me were kindly envious, scrutinizing, and contemptuous. Chen Lixia. Lu Qingju didn't know how long he had been waiting at the door. He called my name in a conspiratorial manner. The people around began to whisper. Ignoring the gazes of the crowd, Lu Qingju tugged my hand and walked out. Obviously every time he does this, why do I feel my heart beating so fast this time? Lu Qingju, where are you taking me? Take you to Drill the Grove. He said viciously. Is it? I don't believe it. I was extra bold today. You're still coming on, aren't you? He stopped and looked back at me with a serious expression. But I couldn't hold back my laugh. The few boys around me seemed to know him. Yo, Lu Qingju, what are you doing with your girlfriend? Lu Qingju, can you carry your girlfriend in this light boat? Don't get tipped over. After saying that, there was also a string of annoying laughter. They say I'm fat, but they themselves are clearly fat as if they are wearing a meat skirt. Lu Qingju wanted to go over and argue with them, but I pulled back. Don't go, this kind of person, the more you ignore him, the more he comes on. But he dashed, the feeling of a fist hitting cotton is even more irritating. No one knows people like that better than I do. Growing up, they gave me all sorts of nicknames around obesity, and at first, I would go and argue with them, and then I grew to realize that the angrier I got, the more excited they got. I was unresponsive and they had nowhere to vent, instead they would get angry themselves. Then why did you hang up on me yesterday? Lu Qingju crossed her arms and glared down at me. The signal in the dormitory is bad. I'll just make it up. What's this? He pointed at his head and asked, does this look like a tumor? Such a big 5G base station next to it, and you're telling me the signal is bad? I was speechless, pursed my lips and stood in place not knowing what to say. Don't like me, and don't know how to reject me, so you just hung up on me. It's okay, it's not like I have to force you to be with me, I'm a boy, it doesn't matter. He looked at me accusingly, like there was something in his eyes. I've never seen him like this before. Everyone says you're nice, I'm always patient and help people in need, it's okay if you're not with me, I know I'll be sad for a little while. He took my hands, his eyes full of earnest longing. We'll still be like we used to be, right? he said, and the light in his eyes suddenly went out, then he hung his head. It doesn't matter if we can't be like before, as long as you can still think of me when you need help. Li Qingshui's shoulders trembled slightly. Family, who understands if I don't stay with him, I'm simply not human. Don't cry I didn't say I won't be with you in fact I also like you for a long time I want to be with you, I was too excited yesterday so I hung up on you you'd better be not crying. Who is this smiling flowery person? Li Qingju has resumed his previous look, the pitiful, stray puppy version of Li Qingju just now, like a figment of my imagination. I used to be able to laugh in the face of those who flirted with me because of my figure. I thought I didn't care about any labels imposed on me by the outside world. But after being with him, I became more sensitive and I didn't want him to be flirted with because of me. I called him that day and heard him playing a game. In the noise, I still clearly heard his roommates ridicule. Li Qingju, why aren't you playing Thurston Ian? Li Qingju should like Sozoni the most. Although I don't play the game, I do know that people generally call Pig Sister to Thursday Honey. They were talking about me. 5. Have you been so busy lately? Li Qingju asked. What am I busy with? It's not because I'm on a diet and can't eat with you. Right. I replied breathlessly. No wonder you look listless lately. He was non-committal. There's been a big difference in temperature these past few days, so you should be careful to add more clothes and don't forget to take your medication. I nodded at him, reassuring him. Standing in front of the dormitory, Yui Liu looked me up and down. Have you lost weight recently? I was overjoyed to hear her say that. Really? Have I really lost weight? Her tone was disdainful. Yes, I've lost weight. Is it worth it for a man? I don't even eat. How can I not lose weight? She's always had a sharp tongue and a soft heart. Looking at the salad on the table, thank you, Yui. She didn't say anything and waved her hand at me. The next day when I went to class, I was wrapped up in twice as much clothes as usual, scarf and hat neatly packed. Why are you wearing so much? My roommates asked. I'm afraid of the cold. Looking at the bare green fields on the road, I was so hungry, I didn't even have any green belts to nibble on. The air conditioning in the classroom was blowing warmly and I unzipped my scarf. Just as I was unwrapping the extra clothes from my body, the student by the window opened the window and a cold wind blew in. I started coughing and couldn't catch my breath. The student who opened the window saw me coughing and immediately closed it again, but it was too late. My eyes went black, and the last thing I heard was Liu Yi's voice. She was asking me what was wrong. By the time I was awake again, I was already at the hospital. How do you family members take care of this? Hormone drugs stop when you say so. How dangerous is this, don't you know? Next to Li Qingju nodded frequently. I'm sorry, it's me who didn't look after her. Young man, this is not sorry for me, this is sorry for people's parents, don't I know you guys? Hormone medication will make people fat. You dislike people's girls for being fat, stopping the medication without permission to lose weight. You're killing people, you'd better watch out for yourself. The doctor patted his shoulder and walked out. Li Qingju. I called out to him tentatively. You're awake, are you still not feeling well? He didn't snap at me, which made me feel even more guilty. Sorry. As if he didn't hear me, he continued to ask if I was still uncomfortable. Li Qingju, just ignore me, okay? I know I'm wrong. I was so anxious that I shed tears. As he wiped my tears, he said, you get well first. If you have anything to say, wait until you get well. Until I got well and was discharged from the hospital, he did not mention this matter to me again. He did not say, I am also too weak to mention. Until the day he sent me back to the dormitory. Chen Lixia. He called my name without any expression on his face. I regret being with you. The moment I heard those words, I was struck by lightning. You. I buzzed my lips, unable to speak. I'm the one who put you in the hospital. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have even thought about going on a diet or suffered all that ill will for no reason. No. I took his hand, afraid that he would shake me off in the next second. Lixia, I'm sorry, I didn't talk to you about this during the days you were in the hospital because I didn't have the face to mention it to you. It was all because of me. It's me selfishly wanting to be with you that caused you to be attacked by people and put you in anxiety. I couldn't advise you to act as if you couldn't see or hear it. I didn't know what to do. Lu Qingju reddened her eyes, her fists clenched white and she couldn't stop trembling. Lu Qingju, I will adjust myself, you believe me. I leaned into his arms, and he obediently buried his head in the crook of my neck. This matter of being with you, it's my own free will, no one forced me, don't blame yourself for thinking about it, it's not us that's at fault, it's those who speak ill of us. I choked up, the truth. Since the last radical weight loss in the world, Liu Yi stared at me every moment. Question of the day, did you take your pills today? Liu Yi stood in front of the mirror, gesturing at her small waist. Took it. This waist of hers, it's almost thinner than my neck, right? This waist of yours is really thin, worthy of being a woman who only eats grass every day. In order to maintain her figure, Liu Yi makes her own salads in her dorm room every day, which are nutritionally balanced and delicious. Since I started to lose weight, she started to feed me. I said that I spend money on vegetables, and she doesn't need it, beautifully saying that she made more than enough and didn't want to waste it before giving it to me. Beautiful woman, always so arrogant. Thin. My boyfriend always says I'm fat lately, let me eat less. She beamed and sat bereft. She never took her eyes off the imaginary fat on her stomach. At that time, I was immersed in the sweetness of love and the joy of the first results of weight loss. I didn't notice her emotions at all, and when I found out, it was almost a disaster. 7 in the second semester of college, I had successfully lost 110 pounds. It's already very good, although it used to be good too. Lu Qingju looked at me appreciatively. I think people who can persist in losing weight are great, that perseverance is not comparable to ordinary people. I nodded in agreement. I looked at myself in the mirror with my jawline taking shape, and the pain of losing weight was swept away. It turned out that my face could be so small. Exercising to lose weight and healthy eating habits made my skin look a lot better, too. Later, one of my photos was also on the school's confession wall. How come I haven't seen this young lady before? She's so cute and white. It's true that micro-fat girls are the most beautiful. I'm not sure if she's the most beautiful girl in the world. Why is it still associated with fat? I slid the mobile phone screen, carefully read every comment. TSK, it would be great if you were a bit thinner. Why is there still meat on your tummy? You're a bad person, why don't you give someone else AP? How embarrassing. Shame on you. So it's embarrassing for a girl to have meat on her tummy. I reached out and squeezed my tummy. Indeed, what a big chunk of fat. Thinking about the cup of milk tea I drank this afternoon, I just wanted to retch. I pinched the flesh on my body and couldn't help but run to the mirror again to take a closer look at myself. Hadn't I put on weight again? There was a jawline coming the other day. Boring. It's annoying. How come you're losing so much hair again? Recently Liu Yi was extra cranky. Little comrade, I saw you on the confession wall grinning. Lu Qingju sent a message with a whole picture. It was the comments under the confession wall. The first time I saw you on the wall, I saw you on the wall of confessions. Really beautiful so atmospheric features. The face of Cathay Pacific, absolutely perfect. It's strange how I totally noticed these comments just now. 8 Weighing myself every day seems to have become something I have to do when I wake up. The numbers on the scale were a report card of the first day's results and concerned my mood for the whole day. 53 kilos, I haven't dropped off the scale in days. I had been eating less and less each day for the past few days, but the number on the scale thundered on. I fiddled with the body fat scale, muttering to myself, is it broken? You should be at a plateau, it's okay, steady your mind. It was only then that I realized that Liu Yi was thinner than before. The thinness is a bit scary. I couldn't help but wonder, thin, does it really look good? But the short videos on the internet, the Netflix bloggers, at one time ruthlessly told me. Thin is the most popular aesthetic at the moment. Thin is not enough, but also white, milk skin, white to reflect, the ultimate young state, this is the only standard of beauty. Not a hint of refutation. Because the most popular ones at the moment, those bursting into flames video, time and time again to tell the world, this is the only standard. I began to learn from Liu Yi to break dinner. This method really worked, and I resumed dropping the scale quickly. In less than half a month, I managed to lose 100 pounds. This was not enough. I learned the method from a certain book and used a soft ruler to measure my circumference. Not enough, not enough. Other people's waists were only in the 50s. The method of not eating dinner no longer worked that well. Even though Lu Qingju repeatedly emphasized that you can't lose any more weight. In order to lose weight nearly crazy where I still listened to it. I went behind his back and cut off the carbohydrates. Carbohydrate cutting is the most effective method in sudden weight loss, but it is extremely harmful. I relieved myself, it's okay, I'll just use it for a few days, lose 95 pounds and I'll go back to my normal diet. But human desires are never in control. I looked at the number on the scale, 95 pounds. It didn't seem to have any effect on my body. I took a chance and continued my weight loss endeavors. That is, until I started losing a lot of hair, losing sleep, and getting cranky and irritable. What really made me realize that something was wrong was during a movie. Did you see that? That girl in the yellow dress is scary thin. A girl who looked chubby to me whispered to her boyfriend. Yeah, it's all because of the internet's distorted aesthetics. Girl in yellow dress, scary thin. That's not me. Lulu wanted to go to the theory, but I pulled back. Do I really look bad now? I asked as I touched my face. Lisha, just think you look good, you like what you look like, that what you look like is the best, don't care about others. He always tells me so patiently, just do what I like. I think I should look good like this now. My answer puzzled Lu Qingju. I'm wearing the most popular Pure Lust makeup of the moment, I'm also thin enough, I should look good. What about you, do you like yourself like this? After a long silence, I shook my head. I shouldn't like it, I like my uninhibited self, I don't like the self that has to weigh myself every day after going to the toilet. Lu Qingju ran to a milk tea shop and bought a cup of my once favorite milk tea. I had forgotten how long it had been since I drank this flavor. Drink it. I subconsciously refused and quickly calculated the calories in my head. The calories are too high, no. It's because the calories are too high to be okay, or you don't like it so it's not okay. I hesitated for a long time, but finally took the cup of milk tea and tasted it. The moment the sweetness of the milk tea wrapped around my taste buds, that kind of silky smoothness was something I hadn't experienced in a long time. Happiness wrapped around me at the moment, I was like Bear 2 eating honey. So sweet, like you. I said vaguely as I chewed on the taro ball. Great to not be so greasy. Lu Qingju had a disgusted look on his face. When I returned to the dormitory at night, I purposely bought a 0-calorie sugar fruit tea to Liu Yi. As a result, she actually broke the mold and went to bed early. In the middle of the night, I was woken up by a rustling sound. The light was on in Liu's seat. What happened in front of me surprised me. Liu was gulping down a bunch of things that he normally wouldn't even touch. I called out to her in a low voice. However, there was no response. I boldly got out of bed and walked over to her. At this point, all the horror films strung together in my head. I tapped her on the shoulder, Yi. The movement in her hands came to a screeching halt and she slowly turned her head. What I saw was a tearful face with snack crumbs staining the corners of her mouth. Lisha! She cried out. What's wrong with you? I don't know, I can't control myself. As soon as it's night time, I can't help but want to eat. When I see these snacks in the supermarket, I can't help but buy them back and eat them all the time and all the time. I can't taste them at all. I can't control myself anymore. What should I do? I squatted next to her and comforted her, rubbing the scars on her hands. I later learnt that it was a wound that people who hyperventilate get. During the day, she went back to her normal, restrained eating. I thought she was just in a bad mood yesterday, but by nightfall, she was like she was last night again. The next day, I took her to the hospital. The prolonged period of excessive weight loss had caused her to suffer from bulimia. Worse than bulimia, the prolonged absence of carbohydrates caused her premature uterine failure, meaning she had early amenorrhea. You're already thin, why do you need to lose weight like that? I wondered. It's Achang. Achang said it would be nice if I could be thinner. He always says I'm fat. Achang is Liu Yiyi's boyfriend. He is about the same height as Liu Yiyi, but he has a long and clever mouth and can speak well. Otherwise, he wouldn't have chased the face-controlling Liu Yiyi to his hand. What he says is what he says. Don't you have your own judgment? You only like is the most important. The moment these words came out, I froze myself. Don't I have my own judgment? It's only important that I like it myself. But he said that thinness is what makes you pretty, and that being pretty is a prerequisite for being loved, and that he's urging me to lose weight so that I can become a better version of myself. Fucking fart, where did this news come from? It's so corny. Yui Liu was taken aback by my sudden outburst. What is beautiful? Who stipulated that there is a standard for beautiful? Confidence is beautiful. It's ourselves who are beautiful. Why should we be defined by others? You are the prettiest and the most beautiful in my eyes. Will you think I'm blind if you say you're beautiful? No. Then do you think you yourself are pretty? 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 Speak up. I'm pretty. I'm pretty. We are always being labeled by others at will. I don't know when the beauty of a girl became defined by rules and regulations, and we forgot that it is not spring for a single branch to bloom alone, but for 100 flowers to bloom together in a spring garden. 11 I'm back to 110 pounds, but this time, I'm happy with myself. The scale is also dusty in the corner. The school's good-looking little handsome boys come and go every year, but no one shakes Liu Qingzhu's position. Therefore, every year I will be pulled out to flog. In the face of all kinds of body shaming, I have already seen strange. Until I found my own video on a short video platform. It was a video of me in a nearly naked state. The shooting time of the video should be when I just started to lose weight, and the shooting location, obviously, was my dorm room. At that time, I was keen on weighing myself every morning. I didn't expect that it would be secretly filmed by someone who had the intention to do so. The video was taken down not long after because it showed too much nudity, but many people still saw it and saved it. Isn't this the girlfriend of that schoolboy who was so hot before? I have her resources. Brothers, let me borrow a step. Unwarranted speculation, malicious attacks, in my life once again staged. This time, I did not choose to escape. I want the person who released the video to pay the price. Rumor mongers, also not one can escape. Accompanied by Liu Qingzhu, I went to the police station to report the case. The location of the video shooting was in the dormitory, which narrowed down the scope at once. In fact, I already had an answer inside. I was not surprised when the police uncle took Chen Jiao away from the school. It's just that I was still a little surprised when the police said that the misplaced photo and the initial matter of leading me to cyber violence were both her doing. I asked myself that I hadn't done anything to annoy her. The school invited Chen Jiao's parents and my parents. We were asked if we were willing to reconcile. Reconciliation? You talk to me about reconciliation, I can't pick up with, it's my daughter who's hurt. My mum, a gentle southern woman, was now furious and red in the face. Don't be unreasonable, we've already agreed to compensate for the damages, what else do you want, she's still a child. Hearing Chen Jiao's mother's words, my mother was like a powder keg that had been ignited. Yo, you say this, who is not a child yet, I'm being unreasonable and unforgiving. What you said is really funny, people like you usually stir up 3 points for no reason, right, now saying that I am unforgiving, moral abduction of who, you are right, she is still a child, so I will definitely not let her go. The reconciliation was thus declared a failure. Chen Jiao was expelled from the school, waiting for her to be judged by the law. Of course, those who had resources and took a step to talk were all caught out from behind their computers. The internet has never been a no man's land. Although there was no major punishment, I demanded a public apology so that my family and friends, as well as people around me, would know that they were so nasty and obscene in private. Liu Yiyi came back from the hospital and broke up with Beta Chang. Together 12 months, 10 months are in the split. Also cheating on a high school student. What kind of scummer, have a girlfriend like you and still dare to cheat? I was so angry that I was spinning in my dorm room. He also said that I'm not his type, He likes skinny little ones that make people look protective. I'm too big. Lee Yi's height of 165 and less than 90 pounds, that's called big and blocky. You believe it? I was afraid that she would be fooled by the scum. I believe him a ghost. He also do not look in the mirror to see what they look like. The old lady beauty is almost not like a person. I'm sweating, it's like cursing to praise yourself. On the day of the university graduation ceremony, Lee Ching-ju proposed to me. In addition to some blessings on the comments section of the school's confession wall, many comments said that I was not worthy of Lee Ching-ju. On the outside, I really can't compare to Lee Ching-ju. But I didn't really want to reply either. But a familiar ID sent a long comment, you know, a hook circle R. Lee Ching-ju is not worthy of Chen Lixia. Chen Lixia is the only person in the school who got a CPA certificate right after graduating from college, or a one-time pass. Is this something that the average person can get? A bunch of superficial people just know to look at the appearance. Just Lee Ching-ju, that love brain who can lose a match because of a few negative comments. How can she take care of Chen Lixia in the future? So it was her, that's why she was furious just now and was writing this. This account with the ID name Fiery Woman had once struck a match for me on that cold night. She said, what's wrong with Chen Lixia? What gives you guys the right to say that about her? At least she's nice. She really, I cried to death. Point 12 After graduation, I entered an accounting firm to work. Girls don't have to work so hard. In fact, many times, there are many shortcuts especially prepared for you girls. The male leader looked me up and down. He raised his eyebrows and rubbed his hands like a fly every now and then. Thanks for your concern, leader. I think I'm fine. Mind your own business. You keep your nose out of beautiful women's business. As the saying goes, boss, I don't think you're a vulgar person. How can you say vulgar things, and a boss? I frowned. How do you smell like an old man in this office? I can't smell it. I'm leaving first. Without waiting for him to speak, I turned around and left his office. Yo, what is it? Why does it smell like a food market pork stall? Colleague Zhong Shizi pinched his orchid finger and huffed in front of his nose. He disliked me from the moment I joined the company. Because originally this junior project manager position was his, but he worked for so long and didn't even have a certified public accountant's certificate before I, a graduate, took advantage of the pit. Hey really dog nose, the food market is 2 streets away from this, can smell, I give you a thumbs up. I speak straight, you don't mind, if you were thinner it would be good. Said also used his hand to gesture in the air. You only talk straight. Besides talking, where else can you be straight? Body shaming me? Then humiliate back. Girls have to suffer too much humiliation in their lives. When we were young, we sneak around carrying tampons to the toilet for fear of being discovered. Later, we restrain our appetite and try to look like the popular aesthetics. In the workplace, our achievements can be easily wiped out by a sentence. Women are good at taking shortcuts, coupled with a few meaningful glances, will make us fall into the trap of self-evidence. We all the way through the thorns, is in order to live pain, not for the eyes of others to change themselves, need to change, never us. Extra, Lixia children are born, is not it time to resign to focus on bringing up children at home? I can't remember how many times this is, Lee Ching-ju's mum came to do my thinking. Why do you want me to resign? Obviously my job prospects were a little better. You're the child's mother, of course you're the one to resign. His mum said thoughtfully. But at the time of the birth of the child clearly agreed that I was only responsible for the birth, you to bring. I will not resign to stay at home to be a full-time mother. You agreed, I gave birth, how to give birth to a change of heart. In the future I have to black and white with you to draw up a good contract. Always want to use the child to take me, think I have a child, can be at home to raise children. I never studied hard for so many years just to get up early in the morning and work hard in this 100-odd square feet place. You child, how do you talk, after so many years of studying, it's all for nothing. I laughed. You also know that I have studied for so many years. You let me study just to take care of the children at home. I did it for your own good. Expand on that. Hearing me say this, his mother thought she had moved me. Think about it. What man doesn't want to come home to a clean and tidy home and cozy meals, right? Coincidentally, I also want to see it as soon as I get home. you go and convince Lu Qingju. You let him resign so that I can enjoy it too. Lu Qingju just happened to open the door and come back. Yo, they are all here. What's the project again today? Quit your job and bring up a child or grab a second child. Mom, if you come back to push Lucia to quit her job or say have a second child, I'll take Lucia and emigrate right away. You know, I've always been true to my word. After the two mums left, Lu Qingju made a call to the captain of his dad's square dance team. Captain Shua, you put my dad and that Auntie Lee on the same team. Auntie Lee is a good dancer. She just happens to bring my dad. Thank you so much. Auntie Lee and Lu Qingzhe's mum did not deal with each other. Lu Qingzhe's mum felt that Auntie Lee was not a good person for being so old and flamboyant. Auntie Lee felt she was pedantic. Why did you change Dad's dance partner to Auntie Lee? I asked in disbelief. My mum's too idle, find her something to do. But Dash, I know what you're going to say, she's my mum, I shouldn't have to do that, should I? I nodded. No one can hurt you under the guise of doing what's best for me. You can choose any lifestyle you want to live provided you want it, and if you don't, no one can force you, even if she's my mum. He was too good to be true. Honey, I'm also idle, let's find something to do too. Can't expand on that here.